Hello everyone, and welcome. I realized I haven't done a color and chat for a while, so I decided to film one today. Thanks for everyone joining me. So my chat takes a while to load, so anyone that's joining right now, hi. But yeah, so today I wanted to do something different, so I'm going to be coloring in Unearthed by Klein. Because I wanted to show how I do grayscale, because I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by it, and I know some people don't like it. I like it because all the shading is figured out for you, and I feel like Bennett Klein's books are a really great way to be able to practice coloring animals and fabric, because he has a lot of wonderful fabric drawings, or drawings that include fabric. So the pencils I'm going to use today, I was going to use my Art Advantage, but I want to do the dress blue, and I feel like the polychromos have a better range for what I want to do. And just a couple of tips right off the bat for coloring grayscale. I always start with the darkest, so I always start with the shadows, and I try to keep my pencils nice and sharp. Really that's true for any coloring project, but especially for grayscale that is as intricate as this, so you can get every little detail. So I'm going to start out with dark indigo, number 157. Okay, here we go. Alright. Yeah, and I'm gonna work from the top down so that I don't smudge it as I go along. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. So there's this shadow right here, and so I'm just applying the color right there, and I make it really soft when I fade out so that I can blend the next color really well. This is the puff on her sleeve. Okay, and then I'm gonna come over here. Sometimes you have to take a second to really look at his drawings because they're so, some of them are so intricate and so bizarre. Like there's one, I'm still trying to figure out the elements for it. I don't know if it's in this book. Oh yeah, this one. So I know that's a fish and that's a water lily, but this other stuff, I'm still trying to figure out what it is. If it's like water or whatnot. Okay. Anyways, that was a little tangent. I'm excited because I haven't done anything with fur yet, and so, sorry, just a second. I want to be able to show or practice doing that in this book. Alright, there we go. Sorry, my chat is up, so I'm just trying to get that set up. Okay. Now we can get coloring for reals. Okay, so it looks like this is some sort of umbrella, carousel, or is that part of her hat? See, I'm gonna have to think about this for a minute. So there are a couple reasons why I start out with the darkest color in Grayscale. And that's because it's easier to blend to the lighter colors and you just like get a more lifelike result from it, which is kind of, I feel like the purpose of Grayscale is to be able to help colorists achieve a more lifelike feel, because they tend to be more detailed, because you see not just the outline of something, but you see all of the inner information. All right, let's take that out a little bit more. Plus, it just, I feel like makes it easier to find where everything goes. It's nice because my allergies aren't acting up as much today. Probably just because I didn't go outside for very long this morning. My son loves to play outside, so we're usually out there a lot. Okay, maybe I should color so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, I didn't. I think this is gonna be really cool. This is one of the pictures that sold this particular coloring book to me, just because it's so, I don't know, I just love this dress and the fabric on it. Oh no, sorry guys, I just accidentally turned off my computer. So I can't really see what you guys are seeing right now. Okay. And then there we go. Okay, let's see if I can get it. My computer is like, or my laptop is about 6 years old now, so it's really slow, which is why I try to do things on my phone so I can upload from there. So I'm trying to decide if I might want to make this corset part a different color, or if I should also make it blue. What do you guys think? I think that's one of the hardest and funnest parts of coloring and art in general, is figuring out the colors and the color scheme and all that. Also, the polychromos or any harder pencil work really well on the Create Space paper. I've used Prismacolors. Let me show you. I mean, it's not bad, but you can just, you'll just have to do a lot more. Is it this one? No, it's this one, sorry. You'll have to do a lot more burnishing if you use a softer pencil like Prismacolors, just to get a finished looking result. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. I don't know if you can tell how there's all these little white specks. So I would also recommend using a harder pencil, because Create Space paper, which or any kind of paper that has a lot more texture. It'll be a lot easier to, man, I just lost my train of thought. It'll look a lot nicer if you use a harder pencil. So you could use polychromos or even just a cheaper hard pencil. So yeah, I I only have 3 different sets of pencils, so I don't want to recommend a pencil and not have it and not know how it works. Today was one of those days where I picked something that I wanted to color for you guys on the color and chat, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind again. And this is the result of that. Okay. There we go. Can you believe school is starting already? I can't believe that. Time flies. I don't have any kids in school yet, but I have a lot of teachers who are friends. Oh my gosh, a lot of friends who are teachers. So they've been like posting their cute classroom decorations / first day of teaching, or another first day of teaching or something like that. Okay, so I want to take a second and kind of show you the next step on the sleeve. So I'm gonna take my color swatch chart. This is dark indigo. So I probably want dark blue that's not too dark. I might try. I think I'm gonna go with cobalt blue greenish, which is number 144. Sorry, I should have picked out my colors before I started filming this. Okay, so for the next step, sharpen that pencil. Still good. Okay, there we go. That's nice and sharp. Because this next part, I'm gonna get into some of this detail. Okay, so I just find where I put all the dark parts, all these shadows, and I go back over it to add even more depth, and then I fade it out more than I did last time. So how is everybody doing today? Today just kind of been a bit of a, well, I was gonna say it was a chill morning, but I just remembered I woke up and just started organizing and cleaning right away. But later in the morning was a little bit more chill. Oh, also for this color, I'm using a little bit more pressure, but not too much. You have to be careful with create-based paper because it is a lower grade paper, and so if you use too much pressure at once, you're going to lose the tooth that you do have. And it is actually pretty toothy paper, but because it's such a softer, or not softer, wimpier paper, that tooth is going to go away faster. Here we go. What do y'all think? Should I make this corset a different color, maybe like a pinkish? Or should I just make it match the other material of the dress? Let me know. So, I just realized an important thing to keep in mind when coloring fabric. And this is drawn really well, so you probably don't have to think about it too much. But there are sharp folds where it bends and creases, and then there are kind of softer folds. Like this is a softer fold, this is a creased fold, so it's going to be a sharp line right there. And just to show that this is folded in, which is another reason why it's so nice to practice doing fabric on grayscale, is you kind of get a feel of how fabric should flow. I don't know if I explained that well, but that's okay. Okay. Now I might make this into a 4 color blend. So this was 144, which is this one. I probably want to do, let's see, do I want to do 143? 110. Let's do 110 and then 145 for the last color. Okay, so I'll do 110 and then 145. Man, why are all my pencils full? I'm trying to think of the last picture that I colored with these. Well, and I know some of these pencils I haven't used yet, and some of them came pretty beat up. Okay, so I'm just going back over everything that I've already done and then fading out more. So pretty simple. I might add a bit more dark here, just because it's kind of getting lost. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's better. Okay, oops. I'm trying not to lose the highlight of the fabric that's sticking out too much, just because that's what makes this picture work. Okay. So then I'm going to take my lightest blue and go over kind of everything, just very lightly. And then where it's kind of speckly, I'm gonna go back and put a little bit more pressure. I'll probably grab my burnisher real fast just to show you how much a difference that can make. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. Where is it? Guys, I can't find my burnisher. Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this up, see if I can show you what it looks like. Let's see. There's that. Oh, sorry, just a second. I'm getting a phone call. There we go. Okay. So yeah, see how it's all speckled? I'm gonna take this Derwent. Well, this is the blender, but it'll work fine. It'll still kind of burnish it a little bit because I'll use this amount of pressure. When you use blenders, obviously start at the darkest part because it's gonna blend it and pull it. I don't know where my burnisher went. That's maybe it's in here. Just a second. Yes. My burnisher. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, that already looks better. So when I finish this little part, I'll show you up close again what it looks like. It just kind of helps fill in those little gaps. Okay. Now, let's see if I can get it to focus. Yeah. So that looks a lot better. And it helps get a more realistic feel. There we go. Okay. And usually when I use so many colors like this, I like to write it down on a sticky note or a little piece of paper, just so I can remember the combination, in case one of the pencils gets used for something else or gets put away. That kind of thing. Or like, sometimes I need a break from a coloring project and it might not be finished, so I like to be able to remember the colors that I used that way instead of having to remember in my head and get it wrong. There we go. Another thing is outside of the edges of things. So like how this is an edge. And this is not an edge. I like to make sure that things that are not an edge, I make soft. I don't know if that makes sense. I like to soften as I go out because it's always easier to make a soft line hard than a hard line soft. And you know, colored pencils are a lot more forgiving if you do make a hard line somewhere. It's super easy to fade it out, but it saves a lot of time if you just make it soft. Soft, soft. I feel like I'm just like rambling random things, but I hope for anyone who's kind of scared by Grayscale that this makes it less intimidating. You just kind of look at it as a whole to decide your color scheme that you want, and then look at things as parts. So I find the dark part and I color it in little sections. And I usually try to do all one color and then move on to the next color. Just because it makes it, one, it's a little bit more efficient that way, but also it's less intimidating that way. But it is one thing that I do like to do is color a small element like this, just so I can make sure that I'm putting enough of a color down, if that makes sense. So that I don't have to keep going back and forth with my pencils later on. Because with the amount of coloring books that I have, the more time I save, the better if I want to get them all finished. Okay, so here's very soft. Oh, another tip. If you want to achieve a lighter touch or lighter application, hold further from the point of your pencil. Just because it gives you still have control over what you're doing, but you're less likely to add too much pressure. And it's something that I don't think about telling people all the time because it's just kind of a natural thing that happens now. But that's something to keep in mind if you do tend to be heavy-handed, because like I've said before, if I'm not careful, I can be really heavy-handed. And that not only wears out your pencils really fast, but it wears down your paper, so you can't get as many layers on there if you do want to do something more realistic. Okay, so we're kind of getting down into more intricate parts of the dress. It's like they're all ruffled. So this is totally off topic, but have y'all read, or has anybody read anything good lately? I've just been on the hunt for a good read, and the past few books that I've gotten from the library, I just haven't had a desire to finish them just because it's kind of the same same kind of person with a negative attitude and the same kind of plot. It was really strange how similar the plot was. Like, totally different, but still way similar. I've been trying to pick up reading poetry again, though. I used to read a lot of poetry when I was a teenager. once I finish this little drapey part, then I'll go in with the other colors again, just to give some interest as to what I'm doing. Okay. My computer is back, by the way. So hello everyone watching. So, oh, sorry, shaking the camera here. Okay, get this edge. I probably need to sharpen this again, because I have some pretty sharp ones that I need to draw or color. Okay, so I'm thinking I might make this part of the dress a different color, either like a yellow or a pink. We'll see what I end up deciding will look best once I get this whole skirt filled in. Okay, so there's this line. There we go. Okay. Moving on to the next color, which is 144. Oh, this is gonna be so great. Get down on those little itty bitty spaces. So one thing that helps me color something more intricate and be able to approach it is looking at what that thing is and then breaking it down into shapes. Like Colin Thompson's coloring book, I like to break that down because he has a lot of little bookcase scenes. That's a Grayscale coloring book as well, actually. But he has it broken down into these little bookcases, and then there's all these little scenes inside. So I'll choose one of those, then just approach every single object individually instead of trying to approach it as a whole. Because when I do try to approach something as a whole, or look at it as a whole constantly, I'm more intimidated, I guess. I'm less inclined to be confident in coloring it. And I think I went a little bit too dark, but that's okay because it is in the back, and things in the back are darker. Things in the light, I cannot talk today. Things in the front are lighter. Okay, so I'm gonna get away in those tiny little grooves. There we go. this. There's a little bit of I don't know what you call it. Fluctuation color. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Fade that out. Yeah, I'm already I keep looking back and looking at the whole thing and feeling intimidated because there's so much to do. Just need to remember, just focus on this little part. Do little parts at a time. And then all of a sudden it will be finished. That happens to me all the time. Or something feels like it's forever away from being finished, and then all of a sudden I have like one element left or a bunch of little elements left. I think that's probably the hardest stage, is when you have all these tiny little elements left that are important to do, but they're kind of random. Alrighty. One that. Oh yeah. This is gonna be so cool. I notice that I tend to sit back and look at what I do a lot, even if I've only done a little bit. I think that's just a habit from just being an artist, because you are encouraged to, work on the element that you're working on, but also take a step back and make sure that it's looking right. So it's a good habit, but also a bad habit, I guess. Oh, I don't like how I do that. Okay. Whew. Almost there. Hang in there. So I think my allergies are partly from the weeds that pollinate at this time of year, and also it's harvest time. There are a lot of wheat fields and barley fields in this area that are harvesting about right now. So there are a lot of little particles in the air. Because I noticed yesterday I was making some gluten-free dough, and I just started sneezing like crazy because I think, well, some of the flours are very fine and they, float into the air. And making me sneeze like crazy. What time is it? Oh, wow. It's almost time to finish. So I think, I'll finish this little section and then we'll say goodbye for the day. Oh, this is 144. Okay. Oh, that fabric. But I think that's one of my favorite things about Klein's coloring books is the fabric that he has. Just because it just is, all of it just looks so exquisite and nice. And his fur, of course. Fur and fabric kind of move similarly if you think about it. If it's long fur. Short fur is very different. Oh, and a tip also for keeping your pencil sharper for a little longer is if you're not doing a crisp line like right here, you would use more of the top of your pencil. But when you're doing more of this coloring stuff, if you use the side of your pencil and then just rotate it every now and again, like this, it's just something I kind of naturally do. I don't think about it either. It helps with keeping your pencil sharper for longer, which makes your pencils last longer, and it saves time because you don't have to sharpen your pencil as often. Okay, it's kind of ambiguous right there. This little area kind of blends into each other. The layers do. But I think I want to make it distinct. Maybe this is, there we go. Okay. Next color. This is 110. Oh, that is nice and sharp. That'll get down those little grooves really nicely. Got a little bit outside the lines there, so I'm trying to fix that. Okay. Gonna get these parts. Now this part is gonna be hard because I don't want them to blend into each other, these pieces right here. So I've got to be very careful to make sure I keep that nice highlight right there. It kind of fades into that. Yeah, I think that works. It's hard sometimes to keep things from getting messy. And that just comes with practice. Something I'm still working on. It's making sure elements are flowing right. Like so. Fade that out. So I'm not using as much of this one as the other ones, just because if I do, then those folds and creases are gonna get lost. I'm mainly using it to burnish some of the darker colors a little bit and fade out just a touch so it's not so stark. And it has a little bit more light and life by adding a brighter color to something. I would say for oil-based markers, not markers, oh my goodness. Have I said yet today that I cannot talk today? For oil-based pencils, also, I mean, you're not gonna die if you put a dark color over a lighter color, because sometimes you have to if you lost your contrast that you're wanting. But for the base, and basically, you want to try with oil-based markers. I did it again. Oil-based pencils, or actually oil-based anything, work from dark to light. And that takes a lot of practice. It's kind of hard sometimes because if you go too dark, then you went too dark. But generally speaking, more people make the mistake of not going dark enough than from going too dark. But if you, I don't know, I just feel like, especially with certain colors, some colors aren't so bad, but if you put dark on top of a light, when it comes to oil-based things, it just feels more muddy. Whereas when you go from dark to light, you're adding light, so it makes it feel more alive. And I know I talk about that all the time, and I'm so sorry, but I think it's just because I made that mistake once in college, and yeah. My teacher tore that painting apart. And there were multiple reasons why it wasn't a very successful piece of art, but his main critique was that I put dark where light had already been placed. And it's kind of funny because watercolor, you actually go from light to dark, and it actually works because that's just how the medium works. But for oils, they interact with each other differently. They layer into each other instead of onto each other, which Prismacolors. So this is kind of, I think, my biggest, or my best way of explaining how Prismacolors blend and polychromos blend. So Prismacolors blend onto each other, and Prismacolors polychromos blend into each other. I don't know if that makes sense. But maybe I'll make a video in the future that kind of explains that more, because there are pros and cons to each of those. Sorry, I got too distracted talking. It wasn't really coloring. Okay, so I'm just super, 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 super lightly going over everything. And then I'll take my blender. So I'm going to show you again before blender. Or no. Wow, I am so sorry. Today I cannot speak. My burnisher. I will show you before burnisher and after burnisher. Okay. So here is before burnisher. It looks good. Let me focus. Yeah. So it looks good, but you can see all those little white speckles. So now what I'm gonna do is take the burnisher again, and it has residue from the other, so you just kind of can scribble it onto a piece of paper and it'll clean the tip off. Okay. And then just take it. And I don't use a ton of pressure at all. Just because this paper does burnish really well. Because it's toothy, but it's not like sketch paper toothy. Or like, I'm trying to think, who has super toothy paper? Like, some of Nick Filberg's coloring books have amazing tooth. So you have to use a lot more pressure in order to burnish. Which is not a bad thing, it's just something to be aware of if you're using pencils instead of a water medium. Also, the burnisher kind of helps things blend. Because I did blend everything, but you can't see it as well before it's burnished just because they're kind of still on top of each other a little bit, and this kind of mixes them into each other more. Get that little white spot. And also because it picks up some of the color, so it kind of blends it that way as well. Yeah, that's already making a big difference. This is the Derwent burnisher. It came with the pencil sharpener that I got, which is really nice. I really like that sharpener. It's very sharp. And I don't know, I think I've only broken one Prismacolor tip with it, and it's because I was sharpening a little bit too quickly. Plus, a little bit too much. I noticed, so I keep my Prismacolors sharp, but not super sharp because they always break if I do. Just sharp enough. Okay, get down there. There we go. I've used a little bit more pressure right here. I must not have put as much color there. Oh, yes, I love this. This makes me happy. There's just something about seeing that finished result that just makes everything look so good. So if you notice, I hardly use anything from those lighter pencils, just enough to add that light that you need, just to show that there's a light source hitting the fabric. Okay, so it's not perfect, but I'll show you the after burnished results. Yeah, right there. Oops, sorry, it's out of focus. Yeah, it just looks so much better already. So anyways, that'll be it for today. Yeah, this one, so it took a little longer to color than I expected just because I got distracted talking and I ended up using more colors than I thought I would. But it's definitely worth that extra time. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Once I finish the dress and stuff, we'll color the fur together. We'll do this part together. But yeah, I'm excited to do this fur with y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and happy coloring. Enjoy the rest of your week.